Morgan, the Next Advenger, by Dylan's Little Hobbies. Chapter 4, we have a new guy, Midas. We'll see who it is. They head back down. Step forward, whoever wants to join our ranks. A skinny, nerdy-looking guy in a flannel shirt steps up. Your name? Sean calls out, Rick. Well, Rick, tell me, are you tired of living in the crowd or nuts? Has your life gone to hell because of the Infinity War? Tell us your story, Rick. It's all here have suffered. Well, when my friends vanished before my eyes, I thought I would go mad. But I found my own way. I enjoyed life. I enjoyed the peace and prosperity of nature. I saw more animals, more birds. Then they all came back. Noise and noise and noise. I hated those guys. A bunch of drunks and idiots. And now they've been back looking for me. I refuse to go anywhere near them. All they do is make the world worse, Rick said. Well, Rick, it's fine. Sean said, see, that says addressing the crowd. Another reason why the Avengers are villains. They call them heroes. And as heroes, they don't think about the consequences of their actions. They only think of how the world affects them, not everyone around them. If it wasn't for them, the attack on New York might have not happened. Sokovia, that was all the brave Stark's fault. Don't even get me started on the war with Thanos. Our world was going under. The Advengers must have thought Thanos would be a salvation, if we just accept it, which for most were. But then they had to go and ruin everything. Here the crowd yells, but Thanos had it wrong, and so did the Avengers. If we had the power of the stones, we could double the galaxy's worth, or at the very least, grow up with the peace that we were accustomed to for 5 years. He yelled, yeah, the crowd joined, and Rick smiled with a machine that's going to change all of that. Me and my brother, but we can't do it alone. We points to the crowd. Dad, we need all of you. We need your help to create a time machine and go back and undo the damage that has been done. That is our mission. Do you accept? He yells at Rick. Rick nods. He walked towards Rick and tore his sleeve off, revealing a bloody crimson-red star-shaped scar with tattoo paint mixing. Welcome to the Crimson Brothers. We, the Crimson Dynamo, will save the world. As the crowd cheers, an old man with a cannon and a white suit steps out of the shadows. And if it wasn't for the support we get from Justin Hammer and his dwellings with Vanka's plans, none of this could have ever been done. Justin Hammer just smokes a cigar and smiles. Rick, you couldn't come at a better time. Let's show you our determination. In the back is 6 objects with gloves. Tess rips one of them off, revealing an Iron Man suit. Some parts rusty. Some parts resemble a pleasure suit. Some resemble Voltron. Definitely a hodgepodge. That looked menacing. Later that next day, Sean stops by Morgan's house. Hey, who are you? Happy says, holding his breath, trying to make himself look buffer and scarier. Relax, Happy. Morgan says as she eats breakfast. He's the one that helped me get home. Well, really? Hey, thanks a lot, man. Those press guys are a lot to handle. No problem, he says, handing his packet to Happy. Happy looks at it for a second as Sean walks over to Morgan. And not a butler. He shouts, oh, my bad. Sean calls back, if you do me that on the shelf. Happy grudgingly does so. What are you doing here? Morgan asked. Well, look, first, I'm sorry. I scared you, but I want to make my dream come true one day. To do that, I need a job at the company that made time travel possible. Or so you want a job. Morgan replies, a bit annoyed. I already put in my info. I can start out as security, but I am hoping to grow from that. I'm hoping because I kinda help you, you might help me out and tell your mom to look at my file first. He puts his hand together. Please, I gotta get this job. He begs her. Morgan rolls her eyes. You'll never get to those time travel files. I'll find my own way, but I also kinda need the money. My brother's teacher duties pay the bills that well. Come on, help your hero out. My hero, she says sarcastically, a bit in surprise. Come on, don't be like that. We knew each other somewhat in college, right? I helped you on several group projects, but we're not friends. Happy, do me a favor and take out the garbage. You might want to grab the bag from the trash can as well. It pretty full, she says as she gets up and grabbed her tablet, getting ready for work. Come on, buddy, you heard her. Sean just sighs and walks out with Happy. None of you seen the last of me? Sean says under his breath, I hope not. Happy replies with a chuckle, "Look, I can't thank you enough for bringing home Morgan. I overheard the conversation. I'll give him a start. The heads up on you." Happy says, "You're just... Well, what can you do to help me?" Sean says, a bit annoyed. Happy, brushing off the butler comment, replies, "I used to be head of security for Stark Industries. Now Morgan's bodyguard, but I can pull some strings and get you in." "Really?" Sean says with a huge grin, "But you gotta do me one favor." "Sure," Sean nodded. "Getting too old one day I can keep Morgan safe. I want you to protect her from all dangers. You got me." Sean nods. "Good, now run along," he says, handing Sean back his jacket. Morgan sees this through the window and just shakes her head as she gets back to work. Within the week, Sean was hired at Morgan's annoyance, but she mostly just kept to her bed working her job. She had to accompany her mom to the office and show the new security office. Accompany them. Happy then began to show him the ropes. Soon it wasn't long before Morgan was sitting in the window alone while Happy and Sean, the two security guards, were laughing in the corner watching the area. As much as Morgan did not like to admit it, Sean was a lot better at keeping the paparazzi away from her than Happy did. Only because of Happy's older age, several more security guards were hired and were all learning under Happy how to protect its Stark Industries. A few weeks went by and the end of the month was coming quickly. If Morgan didn't have any results to show her mother on her work, she would be canned. The thought of this only irritated Morgan, but she only showed in a slight twitch of the eyebrow. Otherwise, she was fully invested in her work. The big test for the new security guard was coming. Several truckloads of tech was coming from the factory and put straight into the warehouse behind Stark Tech to make sure nothing was lost this time. It was the morning of the event. To add some extra security, Pepper even hired Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop with a whole heap of her own stood at the top of Stark Tower watching the trucks and any sign of things going wrong. As security guard, including Sean, still watched just 3 feet apart, guns at ready in case of an interruption. This time Pepper was not going to lose a single bit of tech. She was anxiously in her office waiting for the trucks. Morgan was almost done catching up on the list of everything that was stolen from the last 2 robberies. She calculated the money and she looked into what was being sold on the black market. Then she noticed something. It hit her an idea. Her eyes widened as she realized it and was starting to hope her idea was wrong. She quickly went through all the data. Freddie bring up all the stuff found on the black market. Freddie did as she asked. She flipped through it as the digital book floated in front of her. She cross-referenced her own data, and it seemed plain as day that there was a small and significant pattern of items that were never found on the black market. She took this list of items. "Today I want a list of projects that include these 10 items together, prompt." "Give me a moment," Freddie said. Freddie looked through them all. These items were commonly used in many projects, but not all together. Only one project used them entirely together. Freddie replied when she was done. "Which project?" Morgan replied. "The miniature reactor." Next to it was a list of several projects that used the miniature reactor. A lot of it was basic power grid information, but one project in particular set a chill down Morgan's spine. He grabbed the tablet and ran to her mom's office. Pepper was surrounded out the window, standing behind her desk. "Mom, we got problems." "I just not now, Morgan," Pepper replied. "Mom, it's about the work you give me," Morgan tried. "Not now, we'll hear your report later. Right now we have several trucks coming in, and Morgan shouted. Pepper finally turned from the window to look at her daughter. Pepper saw how frantic she was, how scared she was. Pepper knew she had to hear this out. Quickly, a board meeting with anyone who was able to attend was put together. "That's crazy," a board member said. "Impossible," another replied. "No, it's not. It's the truth," Morgan claimed. "And how can you be so sure this?" Pepper is her daughter. Morgan, standing off to the side, taped something on her iPad, and hologram on a file was bright up. "Look here, why there are many things that showed up on the black market. It's what hasn't shown up that we should be worried about." "Even so, the black market trails run dry," said one of the board members. is not every single item has shown up on the black market, but these 10 specifically have never been mentioned, not even once. It's what hasn't been sold, that's the problem. The other random crimes are just to hide their numbers, hide their goals. Morgan continued. Okay, your point is, asked one of the board members. My point is that they are making a mini reactor. Sure, not all of the items are here for it, but it doesn't take many more to do so. I cross-referenced other companies losing materials, and would you have it known of Eureka-related items that were stolen, ending up on the black market with enough material, a mini reactor could be made. And if so, Morgan was interrupted. The Iron Man project, Pepper called out. She was drenched in sweat. It doesn't take much to weaponize a suit like that, as long as it has a power source. Morgan's right. We're on a whole nother level of danger. I want everybody. In that very moment, something came flying through the window. Glass sprayed everywhere as Kate Bishop fell through the ceiling. She landed flat on her back. Okay, no, I was head for security, but I was not hired for that. She says, pointing up through the hole in the roof. She backflipped onto the table as 3 suits of armor came down. They were covered in old rust material. Helmets had holes and looked to just reforged not too long ago. They creaked and groaned while they moved, and in the center was a glowing blue orb surrounded by the rust armored suit. They had in their hands several guns and bags full of them all over their armor, and a red star symbol crossed over the chest plate surrounding the blue glow. It was obvious Iron Man suit, or at least inspired by Iron Man suit, stood in the office threatening the Stark industry. Watching. Let me know how you like it so far in comments down below. Subscribe for more fanfic chapter.
Subscribe to Dylan's Little Hobbies right now.